Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
This is what I've learned from getting together with her over many podcasts, and learned a lot of different things, but one of the things that really shines for me, and I'm going to use that word shine, is that she illuminates your life. She helps put a light on what you've got going on, and usually it's the things in your life that you don't realize because we're running 100 miles an hour, social media, busy, blah, 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 blah. We don't see those wonderful things within our lives. She also helps illuminate our lives to make changes and transform. She's an amazing psychologist, speaker, author. She also has a master class, which we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. So great to have her back with us. Dr. Ann Creekmore is on the program. How are you doing today?
Great, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. It's we were talking before. I had a little flood here in the studio office, so it's been an interesting time, but it's all good.
We'll turn that lemon into lemonade, right? Somehow.
Well, we have enough water. Just add the lemons, and we'll be good with that.
Perfect.
But you know, in a life far ago for me, things like that would stress me out. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to get to blah, blah, blah. Talking with you about a lot of these principles, practices to be intentional, about living in the moment, about minimizing stress. We've talked about all of that over the past. I actually use it, put it to my, in practice.
Yay.
And if this was 5 years ago, I'd be in freak mode. Like, oh my God, what are you going to do? The expense, blah, blah, blah. Now it's like, it's okay. It's going to be all right. We got this.
Congratulations. You got your skills.
Well, this
resilience skills going.
You know what? Resilience is my word of the year. It really is. Like if I had to pick an affirmation, I am resilient. And that's what I've learned in my journey. Like, how about you? What stands out for you? If you were to pick a affirmation, fill in the blank at this moment, I am what? What would it be for you? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, what first came to my mind, it was I'm spiritual, positive minded. That's what I mean when I say spiritual. I'm positive minded. I'm connected to the good and creating the good.
You've opened my eyes up to that spiritualism, positivity, but in a way where it's not rose-colored glasses, where you're just pretending everything is great, nothing's going to rock my world. No, that's life. It's going to happen, but
right.
You have a choice of how you're going to react to it. And much of this is in your book, Love Yourself, Love Your Life, which we've talked, it's basically been the script for this podcast in a lot of ways. Such a great book.
Thank you.
How would you describe that book? If I just saw you in an elevator, I walk up, and haven't seen you in a while. Well, I heard you wrote a book. What's the book about? How would you explain that book?
Yeah, I would say it's called Love Yourself, Love Your Life. It's in my maiden name, though, Filosa. And it is a kind of a summary of the main schools of thought in therapy. And each chapter covers a different effective therapy, and it helps you to be able to understand that therapy is written at, layman's level and a hopefully entertaining way with some, people examples. And at the end of each chapter, there's a checklist where you have your toolbox, checklist on that. Like the first chapter is cognitive behavioral therapy, the self-fulfilling prophecy, kind of how you change your thoughts to create better feelings and get your behavior so you have great outcomes in life. And it just goes through all 10 areas of your life to help you be happy in them. So like creating healthy relationships, healing emotional wounds of the past, taking negative feelings to turn them into a positive, relieving life solution, and so on. So it's a whole 10 areas to how to love yourself, love your life, and all the skill sets. So you have a kind of a toolbox of skill sets from it.
Now, there's many chapters and many different things in that book, from the power of your words, spiritualism, recognizing certain things to reduce stress, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Is there anything in your book that's more important than something else? Or would you say, no, they're all just as important?
Right. That's a really, you know, it's hard for me to really say. I know that cognitive behavioral therapy is considered the most effective form of therapy. That's the chapter one. How do you catch the negative thoughts that you're having, stop them, thoughts stop them, and then put in the positives that creates the positive feelings and the passion and motivation to behave appropriately and healthily to create the end outcome. I know that is really important. I The whole fulfilled person chapter, a lot of people I think relate to and really get a lot out of it. It's kind of goes way back to Aristotle, but it's a recovery model too, where we don't put our energy into being mentally preoccupied with something. Could be an addiction, drugs, alcohol, could be workaholism, it could be obsessive thinking or obsessive codependency. It helps you to get out of that, so you start to care for yourself, you understand your rights and your needs, and start to build a lifestyle based on being a whole fulfilled person. I think those chapters come to mind as the ones that are just a necessity for us to really be happy in life. But the other chapters, like, healing emotional wounds of the past, understanding how to understand you're triggered, or how to create healthy relationships, or how to communicate healthily, speak your truth. These are all important. And there's much more to it, like you mentioned. But those are the ones that kind of come to my
Mhm.
mind. Mhm.
We're going to talk about a master class you have coming up in a moment, but I wonder, do you feel that many of us are walking around not feeling whole, not feeling fulfilled? We're looking for something. Even the people
Absolutely.
you talk with?
Absolutely, because I don't think that as children, really, we're our parents don't get training manuals on how to raise children, right? None of us get that, and so it's not like they're saying to you, "Hey, how do you feel? Are you fulfilled in this area? Are you feel?" It's more of an external focus of like, "Are you getting your schoolwork done? Have you got your chores? Can you clean this up?" You know, that and we need to revisit that. We need to often reparent our own selves and realize, hey, we have these rights and these needs, and we're supposed to be caring for ourselves in these areas, like mentally, your expressive creativity, physically, your physical health, your sleep, socially, finding a group that supports you to grow, and you enjoy belonging, emotionally, helping yourself to be resilient, be able to express, but how to get yourself in balance, and your spirituality, having some faith in something, purpose beyond yourself, where you feel a sense of good in the world, your kind of inner peace space. There's all that's just part of it. And so I think that well, hopefully I said enough about that.
No, I get it. And I believe that we don't realize that there is something missing, but we don't know what it is, but we feel something's off. Something is not complete. Yes, you might be grateful. You've got a place to live, good family, job's okay, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But there might be just a shallowness inside. And that's what we're talking about here. And I, I experienced it. And then I realized it. Call it
Right.
spiritualism, if you will. And I know a lot of times people hear that word and they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, religion." No, no, it's not about that. It can be, but it doesn't have to
Mhm.
be.
Right.
Um, this thing called spiritualism or
But
spiritual.
spirituality, mindfulness, that finding that kind of sacred space within oneself of inner peace. And how do we go about that? How do we connect to that good and create miracles from that? Because if we enter a situation from a place of peace and love, we're going to create a better outcome, obviously, than if we come from a angry, hateful, place. And so getting ourselves to that inner peace And that can come from different religions, because ideally most religions are saying God is love, God is in everyone, everything, and we want to connect to the good, and we want to be, that. And so it is, and I think that the spirituality, that mindfulness is also part of therapy now, that positive mindfulness is part of psychology today, and very important. Mhm.
Is there a moment in your life where you had that epiphany that, that's what that spiritualism is. That's that now I see it. Now I got it. Is there something when you think back that stands out? Maybe just a little something where it's like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, this is something good here.
Yes. Well, several things. I mean, when I was very little, I was raised Catholic. And I remember getting a little white catechism and reading that God is love and God is in everyone, everything. And I thought, oh wow, that's really my start on my approach to life. I did also, but I kind of branched out and done a lot of spiritual studies in different, religions, if you will, or sects within the Christian religion, or open to the Buddhist, or open to unity, or religious science, or science of mind, is all about how it's really kind of the law of attraction in a sense, but they don't mention that. It's about prayer, like our thoughts are prayers. And so when I went into that class, or that center on religious science, science of mind, which is kind of connecting science and religion, they gave a test that was just like to get a feel for where you were at. And I put all these answers down. They said, well, so I got like a happy face, got them right. But basically, religious science or prayer treatment was actually nothing but cognitive behavioral therapy. I mean, not nothing, but it was more than it. It just said that cognitive behavioral therapy works, that we are able to raise our serotonin, our positive mood neurotransmitter, per the research, through changing our negative thoughts to positive thoughts, because there's a spiritual law to it. That is, God is love and God is in everything, and we tap into inner peace or inner love, the force of good, and we create from that, so that our thoughts are prayers. In other words, so whatever we're thinking is we're putting that out, and we're creating that. It's going to outpicture on our life. It's not so much what's happening to us, but what we say to ourselves about it, and what we're saying about will affect us to relate in a certain way. So it kind of was an aha moment there, where like, you mean like maybe cognitive behavioral therapy actually has a spiritual, if you will, root to it. It is being connected to our mindfulness, our inner sacred space, and our thoughts are like prayers, because in all the religions, there's prayer, there's focus on the word, on the verb, saying the Bible, and different religions, that whole, it's a shared phenomena, if you will, where we look at our words as having power. That's chapter 4, actually, in my book. There is a little section in there on, religion and or really spirituality, and gets expressed through community. When you're part of a community in a religion, you get your social whole fulfillment. And you're on a path of faith, thinking beyond yourself in the material world, and thinking about things in a bigger way that give you purpose and sense of hope.
You did tie it to religion, God, a few times.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
But even if we didn't, and I was raised the same exact way you were,
Yes.
and in that journey, all good, but it came a point where I felt disconnected. And I'm very transparent. They would ask me to read in church. They said, hey, you got a good voice. Can you read?
Yeah.
And I would do it like twice a month. But I found myself not even knowing what I was reading or even how to pronounce the words. I was more focused on studying, make sure it's going to be delivered correctly. So I gravitated over to just a Christian church. And I don't go always, I try to go, as often as I can. But I feel like it released me for a little while of the formatics of a religion, which I
Right,
believe comes with the Catholic religion. Just my opinion. There's nothing wrong with it at
right,
all.
right,
Again, I grew up that way. Um, but I
right.
think I just needed to view things a little bit differently. And in doing that, I believe that opened the door to this thing called spiritualism or being more spiritual. Nothing to do with religion, at least in my opinion. Maybe there's some crossover there, but it was more of about connecting to myself within,
Yeah,
connecting to just observing, just looking at life, looking at the wonderful things in life, the wonderful signs that are presented to us from the universe or those who have passed over, whatever it may be. But it was just
mhm.
a different appreciation. And will I gravitate back to, Catholic religion? Maybe. I don't know.
Right.
I just, it's more of I'm on a fact finding mission. I'm on a just, looking around. Let me see what's going on. Let me check this out. Let me learn.
Exactly.
It's
It's
cool.
it's not like an either or situation of exclusionary clubs that are against each other. They're all at the foundation, even cognitive behavioral therapy, at the same point, and they're just pieces of the puzzle, that may emphasize something different. Like, for example, just mentioned Buddhism was, it that's a being, paganism could be even nature, like you're talking about, being in the nature and connecting to the good. And the Buddhism is meditating and getting to that inner sacred space through the meditation, the contemplation. It's, different. You need sometimes to have a spiritual openness to everybody, as long as it's bringing us all to love and peace. Whatever you're emphasizing in your way of getting there is a good thing. It's as
Mm.
we don't want to fight with each other and say, "Oh, this I'm better." It's not a competition. It's all of us getting to that sense of inner peace and love, and utilizing different components of different pieces of the puzzle in different religions, which may work. Emphasize one thing, but in a sense, they're all at the core the same thing. Getting to your inner I am, and that inner peace that connected to the good, to God, if you will, or whatever, your inner sacred space, however you see it.
Mm. What if somebody's like questioning this? Like, maybe this is right for me. Maybe I should go down this road. Maybe I should learn more. What would your advice be in terms of, getting a little more spiritual, a little more in touch with oneself? What would you say?
Absolutely. I think it's vital because
Mm.
it's kind of like our visionary is what creates. We have to connect and believe that we have this ability to connect to the force, to the good, to God, if you will, whatever you want to call your higher power, or your higher self. We have to believe that and we want to explore that. It's kind of our core to build on for everything.
You just made something come very clear. I don't know why I never thought of this, but we have these amazing abilities, our intuition, a
Yeah,
lot of things we got going on.
right.
But until and we'll take the word spiritual out for a moment, if that,
Okay.
confuses people, whatever it might be.
The right brain, left brain, intuitive,
Yeah, whatever.
whatever.
Until you spend time with yourself, go within, you are missing out. And I'm not preaching anything here. It's just, you
Right.
speak to many people about our intuition. We all have it. Everybody, look, I got a gut feeling. Yes, that's that
Yes.
wonderful ability that you were given. And it's also the ability to detect things that might not be keeping you safe. And that's why we're still here, because thanks to
Right.
evolution, back in cave people time, the intuition said, don't go outside the cave. There's a pterodactyl.
Right.
You stay inside. But until you go within, you're not going to experience that. You're not really going to fully harness the power of it.
Right.
I'm speaking from experience. I always know, yeah, I got some intuition, and people around me are intuitive that I know. Some of them, they make it their life's work. That's what they do. And I'm skeptical. Yeah, I try and punch holes in it, but I can't because it's the ability that they're using. It's amazing once you start tapping into what we got,
Exactly. We're
right?
there's more to us. I mean, they just found another layer of skin under our skin, and we have more in ourselves than we realize.
Wow.
And they're probably going to find organs that match up with it. They found some mirror, cells or blade tip or empathy, a person's empathy. So we have a lot more faculties that we need to, they talk about, that most people are only using 3% of their brain or their awakened consciousness. And we need to be open to that. And one of the ways to do that as well is when something negative happens, to just see what the good could be in that and let that evolve. Not, sometimes something happens to slow us down in one direction, so we'll go in another direction, or it'll give us something. So if we can always come from that place of peace and love, we're going to create more that way. And so, yeah.
Tell me about your master class. You working on that? That's coming up soon, right?
Yes. I have several books, and the main one, as you know, and we've talked about them, but is the Love Yourself, Love Your Life that I just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But it includes also my other books as well. So it'll be kind of like a class, like I have different podcasts that will show or discuss certain chapters of each, and want to set up where we can have like a following of participants that can watch it for the week, and then we can maybe have emails or chats and build on it and just kind of work together to get all these ideas, and all these helpful skill sets out to everybody.
Reading the book is great. It is user friendly, but if you want to take it to a deeper level and have that even clearer understanding of all these principles that we're explaining, by the way, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. That book is like your manual for life. That's your GPS. That's, back in the day before there was GPS, we had maps. That's the map. That's the map.
Thank you. Yes, I tried to put it all together.
It really is like everything that's challenging you, or the questions you have about life and direction and things like that. It's pretty much all there in the book. And you've done a fabulous job of
thank you so much.
Putting it all together, even with diagrams, even with anecdotes, even with, I don't know how.
Poems.
Oh, thank you.
There's a morsel poem in each chapter to get it.
Yeah, like you're super talented, even just to write a poem that applies to the chapter of the book, where it's almost like it's kind of a quick read, kind of get, that's the appetizer to the chapter, which was to be the meal of the day.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're a delight. You just positivity, and just everything that we need to transform our lives. And we've said this before, going to say it again, and heal. We have so much to heal from. And I know it's a tough word, but we do. Every one of us has things we need to heal from. As we've explained, much of it coming from our childhood.
Right.
But, until you fix that, you can't fix this now, this being your adult life and what's going on in your life. Right. How do we find out about the masterclass? Let's start there.
Well, it's in the process, and even you and I have been talking. We're going to talk about it, so maybe we can get some more information out. It's half done, but it's really more of how it's going to get set up and produced online for people. But you can go to my website. And go to Dr. Ann Creekmore, or just go to Psychology Today for me and find Dr. Ann Creekmore. I'll take you to my website, and it should be up there soon for the fall. It'll probably be a little longer, but and then you just go and find me there, and you'll find it on the website.
Yeah, and on that website, drannCreekmore.com, doctor being DR, and with an E. Mm-hmm. You've got all the information about your wellness, life coaching, hypnotherapy, which we haven't hit in a while, but that's another part of you.
Absolutely.
And an amazing modality, spirituality, hypnotherapy, game changer for me.
Right.
That was the magic ticket. And it's a little bit of herbals.
Absolutely. Renews your line to where it should be, to that
Mm.
of peace and love. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is everything you need to make changes in your life. Links to the book are there too, and all the information about you. Thank you for sharing today. Thank you
Thank
for
you, Steve, for everything and all
oh,
for sharing.
I've
Yes.
learned so much, and also you've helped me validate things I've wondered about in my journey, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, really appreciate you for
And
everything.
somehow the universe will get us together again sometime soon. But in the meantime, go
Exactly.
there and check it out, drannecreekmore.com, and we'll talk soon, I'm sure.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.